Hello, and welcome to the Lines That Never Were series, where we feature proposed but forgotten New York City subway lines. In this video, we will continue east of the IND South 4th Street line and talk about the IND Winfield Spur. The IND Winfield Spur was proposed in 1929 as part of the IND second system. The line was a meandering route around central Queens, as there were many cemeteries in the way. The line would have started at Jackson Heights, Roosevelt Avenue, and would have made a turn south via 78th Street and run elevated around Garfield Avenue. Then, it would continue down south via 65th Street and run in a tunnel under Fresh Pond Road. At Myrtle Avenue, it turned east and joined with the Myrtle Avenue branch of the IND South 4th Street line. On 80th Street, the Winfield Spur would run elevated again, and at Forest Park would turn south to run alongside the LIRR Rockaway Beach branch. But many people doubt how serious this plan was. After all, this line was a meandering route, meaning that it would have added extra time to people's commutes. And people knew how eager the IND was to run the IRT and the BMT out of business. Why would the IND build a circuitous route through Queens instead of straight through via the LIRR Rockaway Beach branch, or connect it with the new Fulton Street subway? Speaking of the LIRR Rockaway Beach branch, why would the IND waste such a good piece of infrastructure in favor of building a line alongside it? Why not recapture it? Transit blogger Van Schnickenragen theorizes that this line was only designed to scare the LIRR into selling the Rockaway lines. But he also added that the IND already built an upper level at Roosevelt Avenue for IND Winfield Spur trains, so maybe the IND was serious about it. Where the Winfield Spur would have ended and the Rockaway line started is up for debate. Some people say that the Winfield Spur is only the portion from Roosevelt Avenue to whenever the line joins the Myrtle Avenue branch of the IND South 4th Street line. Some say that the Winfield Spur would have gone further and ended at the former LIRR Rockaway Beach branch. Some even theorize that the spur would have contained the entire Rockaway lines. In this video, we are going to consider the Winfield Spur to be from Roosevelt Avenue to whenever the line starts running along the LIRR Rockaway Beach branch. Due to the Great Depression, the line was postponed, then shelved. Due to the meandering route, the proposed line was not very popular, so the Winfield Spur was axed and was replaced with the proposal of converting the LIRR Rockaway Beach branch to subway service. By 1955, the Rockaway portion was converted into subway service and connected to the BMT Liberty Avenue L, or today's IND Fulton Street line. But the connection to the IND Queens Boulevard line, which was something that the IND was very interested in doing, and something that the IND Winfield Spur would have done, would never happen. Just like the IND South 4th Street line, the IND Winfield Spur is still alive, if you count the provisions. But unlike the IND South 4th Street line, finding those provisions is harder. At Roosevelt Avenue, you will notice a ramp going upwards. This ramp would have led to the Roosevelt Avenue's upper level platforms and would have served the IND Winfield Spur trains. The tunnel here lasts until around 78th Street, where the line would branch off. At Bedford Nostrand Avenues, there's a center track. These two tracks continue east and feed into the Myrtle Avenue portion of the IND Winfield Spur line. At Classen Avenue, there is an empty space in the middle of the station. No one knows why it is there, but the most popular theory was that the space would have a track installed and would have stored trains for the IND Winfield Spur line. In my opinion, yes, but in a different form. After all, Brooklyn and Queens need more connectivity, and while upgrading the G train is something that I 100% support, there needs to be much more done. After all, Queens grew at 8%, while Brooklyn is just shy of its 1950s population peak. As more trips in the city do not involve Manhattan, we need to start planning for more lines like that. The first is to extend the Franklin Avenue shuttle to Bedford-Nostrand, then for it to be extended up via the G tracks to Court Square. This would create a one-seat ride between North Brooklyn and South Brooklyn, something that the system lacks and, in my opinion, needs. Watch our podcast episode on the Franklin Avenue shuttle for the full explanation. The second is to build the Interborough Express. While there are some problems with it, like the fact that freight trains actually use the line more than what people believe, I do support the idea. This would help create a half-ring line around the heart of Queens and the heart of East Brooklyn and South Brooklyn, something that would help a lot of people. Instead of backtracking into Manhattan, you can zip through into Brooklyn or Queens on just one line. Of the three proposals I want implemented, this is the most likely to be completed, as Governor Hochul announced that this line would be completed in 2030. There are three ideas for the line: conventional rail, light rail, and bus rapid transit. I personally want the conventional rail option, as that has a greater capacity, has the potential to be further expanded, and could be run at subway-like frequencies. Let's hope that the project actually finishes by 2030. Finally, I want the Queens Link to be built. The Queens Link project will reactivate the northern portion of the LIRR Rockaway Beach branch. That portion has been abandoned since 1962. Not only would it create a one-seat ride between the Rockaways South Queens and Northern Queens, and reduce congestion on Woodhaven Boulevard, an extremely congested north-south artery, it would help boost capacity on many lines. Currently, the Rockaways is served by the A train and the Rockaway shuttle. Both are served with trains running every 15 to 20 minutes. This is because capacity is capped because of the numerous branches the A train has. This is unacceptable, and if the M train is rerouted to Beach 116th Street, the Rockaways would have service increased 100%. Now, commuters would have to wait 5 to 10 minutes for the next train, which is not perfect, but still is a massive upgrade. Moreover, by rerouting the M train to Beach 116th Street, the G train can now run to Forest Hills, giving Queens Boulevard local tracks a 50% boost in capacity. There are many things I want to say about the Queens Link project, but that warrants its own video, so stay tuned for that. In the meantime, please check out the Queens Link project. It is a great project that I want implemented. In the first video, I talked about how much I preferred squeezing as much capacity out of existing lines. But here in Queens, that is not very possible, as the lines are already maxed out, we have too many branches, and the G train only serves the western side of Brooklyn and Queens. This means that if you're trying to get to the eastern side of both boroughs, you would still need to backtrack. Year after year, we see jumps in ridership, and although the pandemic has caused ridership to plummet, Queens and the outer boroughs have seen a massive rebound in ridership. Therefore, we need new infrastructure to boost capacity on new lines. Anyway, that marks the end of the video. What are your thoughts on the IND Winfield Spur and my ideas? Let us know in the comments below. And have a good day. Why would the IND build a circuitous route around Why would the IND build a circuitous route through Queens